NIU head coach Lisa Carlson. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time. Year 10. How's your summer been with the team and how are you feeling heading into this season?
It's been great. I think the summer can be so important for so many different reasons, right? When your roster, you have a lot of new faces. I think the summer is one of the most critical phases just to kind of get an opportunity to get to know each other from a coach's perspective to players and then player to player. And I think it can be critical as you're really preparing to go to battle together.
You mentioned quite a few new faces. You lost some notable pieces, especially Jaden Marable, who was one of two players who averaged in double figures for you last season. How are you going to look to make up some of that production?
Well, I think we're super excited about the seniors that we have back and the leadership and what they've proven on the court. They will be the foundation of what we do, and we feel like we've added some pretty valuable pieces through the portal. And also, I'm really excited about our young kids. So I think we have all of the necessary pieces to put together a great roster, and then it's up to us to make it all work.
Well, one of those new faces on your roster is Lexi Carlson, who happens to be your daughter. What is that dynamic like for you as her head coach?
It's been a lot of fun so far. It's interesting because you have a freshman coming in to your program that they're very, very familiar with. And so, it's funny, some of the older players definitely only remember her as coach's daughter and how involved she's been with the program from that aspect. But I think she's done a great job of really proving herself as a teammate. And that's probably what I'm most proud of. But I'm not going to lie, it's pretty fun on a day-to-day basis.
Well, in the same breath, you do bring back four of your top five scorers, led by Brooke Stonebreaker. She was your leading scorer, third team All-MAC a season ago. How much will her role continue to evolve this year?
Yeah, I think Brooke had such a phenomenal year last year, really coming out of her junior season where she didn't play a lot and stepping into a completely different role and really embracing that challenge of being kind of a go-to player. Her All-MAC accolades at the end of the season kind of culminated with all the hard work that she put in. And so all those firsts that she went through last year are no longer firsts, and she understands how much we're going to rely on her from a productivity standpoint and really her growth just as not just a player, but as a person and her ability to lead through example. And she's really done a great job of finding her voice, especially for our new players.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you a little bit about Shelby Coker, who missed last season due to injury. She was a preseason first team All-MAC selection before the injury. What was last season like for her in terms of her rehab, being around the team, and how much are you going to look to her this season?
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited to have Shelby back, right, for so many different reasons. I think last year, as it is for all players, was really hard. She had a great summer, was anticipating having a great season, and then had to make that decision with the injury to have surgery. But her voice is something that we have valued throughout her entire career, and I think that was really good for us last year. But it's going to be a lot better having her on the floor with the ball in her hands.
And coach, you really are testing your team in the non-conference. You're going to Iowa, you're going to Missouri. What do you hope to learn about your group in these types of matchups?
Well, I think our non-conference schedule puts us in a great situation to prepare for what we know is kind of a gauntlet in the MAC. You mentioned a couple of Power Four schools that we're going to go on the road and really enjoy the experience and challenge our, really upperclassmen heavy roster. And I think you have to do that to really have that gut check to find out where you're at. I feel great, again, about the senior leadership that we have and our ability to go in and compete in any game that we play. And so I think it's more excitement than anything to really get going.
Last season, you finished 15 and 16 overall, 8 and 10 in the MAC. You ultimately fell in the MAC tournament to the eventual champs in Kent State. In what ways is this team, while having a mix of bringing back a lot of players from last season, adding in some new pieces, where is this team most different this year?
Well, I think one of the things, and I keep coming back to our senior leadership. We have four seniors, a true 4-year senior, two fifth-year seniors, and then Shelby, this will be her 6th year. And there was a lot of reasons why they could have left, right? They all are finishing their degree. They're getting their master's, which is going to be awesome, but they didn't need to stay. They fulfilled their commitment, got their degrees, but all of them, all of Shelby, Sid, and Brooke all have made it very clear that one of the reasons they came back is because they feel like they have unfinished business. And I think knowing that you have your seniors who have that goal in mind and understanding that it's about making their mark on this program, I think there's a lot of other players that kind of fall in line, you know, understanding that they're going to be led in a positive direction because of the motivation to, you know, essentially make a run at that MAC championship or hang a banner.
When you look at the style of play for your team this season with the roster you have composed, when is this team at best?
Well, I think I will always say that we're at our best when in conversion and being able to play in open space. I think we have post players who are really effective with their back to the basket, but that's not all they can do. They can run, they can, you know, spread you out with their ability to shoot on the perimeter. And so really being able to open it up and play in space is probably when we're at our best.
I want to ask before I let you go about the conference as a whole. When Kent State won the tournament last year, there was a lot of chatter about whether or not the MAC could get in maybe one or two additional teams. Would we see Toledo or Ball State in the NCAA tournament? Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But as someone who's been a coach in this league for some time now, how would you describe the caliber of play you see on a nightly basis in the MAC?
You know, I've always said this about, I think you have some great coaches in this league, you know, and I've been around for some of those legendary coaches to have moved on, whether it be retirement or going to different programs. But I think the one thing from a respect standpoint across the country is people know that the leadership in this league is really strong. I think we continue to produce players of great caliber, you know, and for us, it's really important to be able to retain those players and have them finish their career here. And I think that's a challenge for all of us, right? With the way the landscape is in college athletics. But I think the respect factor for the leadership has always held firm there. And I don't think it's any different today than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, no question. It's certainly a challenge. And coach, you're an example of doing it the right way, able to retain so many of your players. Lisa Carlson, thank you so much for taking the time. We look forward to seeing you this season.
All right. Thanks, Kaylee.
Coker. Shelby, thank you so much for taking the time joining us here today. I want to start by asking you about last season. Take me through what your reaction was to learning you had yet another injury that was going to take you out for the season.
Yeah, I was pretty devastated when I found out that I needed to have surgery, but I think like the support from the staff and like even my teammates really helped me get through that time.
Coach talked about how your voice was still so strong in the locker room with your team. How important was it for you to remain connected to the group last year, even though you couldn't be out on the court?
Yeah, I think it was really important as somebody on the sideline, you see so much, and I really felt like I learned a lot too from being on the sideline. So I think as anybody who's on the sidelines, it's so important for them to share what they see and help the people who are on the court. So I definitely tried my best to stay connected, stay involved, and do my best to just share whatever knowledge and experience I had or could see on the court.
How would you describe how the team was able to band together last season and still find a way to create so much success?
I mean, I think this goes to show our team culture and what we've spent so much time trying to build, to lean on each other really, and just to have the confidence, put confidence in each other. So I guess I wouldn't say that I'm surprised that we were able to do that and continue and find some success last year.
There's a lot of senior leadership this season with this team. You bring back 4 of your top 5 scorers, not even including you from last season. You were preseason All-MAC first team a season ago. What are your expectations for this group this year?
Yeah, I think we always we have some pretty high expectations, and like Coach said, we have some people coming back with Laura Nichols, Stony, and Sid. We are all seniors, and this is our last year, and we definitely feel we have some unfinished business left. So, yeah, I think we're looking forward to getting started.
What would you say is most different about this team than the group you've had maybe in seasons past?
I think we have a great core here with the returning pieces and also adding some new faces to our program. I think everybody's bought into what we're about, and I think continually our culture continues to get better and better. And I think this is the best team culture we've ever had.
That's awesome. Obviously, motivation is there for this group. Do you have any individual goals and maybe team goals that you guys have set?
We want to win as many games as possible. Of course, we always set many goals as a team, and we want to build upon last year. And I think this year we are determined to win our first game in the MAC tournament. Obviously, we don't want to just go and win our first game. We want to win all of them. But in my career here, we have our eyes on the prize, definitely.
I asked your coach this, but I think it's good to get a player's perspective too. The MAC has widely been acknowledged as a tremendous league in women's basketball. How would you describe the level of competition that you face on a nightly basis?
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time. I think the MAC produces excellent players. And I think just the level of intensity, the strength, and the pace of our game isn't always recognized. And I think we've had amazing players leave the MAC, graduate from the MAC, or move on to the next level. So yeah, I completely agree with Coach on that aspect, that the MAC is no joke.
Well, Shelby, before I let you go, we're doing some rapid fire questions with the players that we're talking to. So these are some fun questions. So let's see what you got for us. What is your favorite food?
Peanut butter.
Okay. Favorite place to go on vacation?
Anywhere that has a beach.
Great answer. Song you can't get out of your head right now?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that one.
Dream job outside of basketball?
To coach.
What's your favorite color?
Green.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I can play the guitar.
Oh, okay. What is your favorite movie?
I would say Miracle on Ice.
Okay. If I'm visiting campus, where's one place that I need to go?
Fatties.
Outside of NIU, what is the hardest place to play in the MAC?
That's a tough one. I would say probably Toledo, just because their fan base is amazing and we always know it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Awesome. And one word to describe this year's team?
Motivated.
I love that. Shelby Coker, thank you so much for taking the time. We're looking forward to seeing you back on the court this season. It is coming quick. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.